Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Winnie Williams, and this is a series called Light in Law. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about law. We're going to be talking about what is law and the features of law. Now, if you're a law student, especially a 100 level student, you need to watch this video from beginning to end, because the information that will be shared here is paramount to your passing your law degree and your course legal method. So make sure you stick through. The first time I walked into class in my 100 level, apart from sitting behind and then coming in front, the lecturer stood in front of us and asked us a very simple question. What is law? Right? You say you're studying law. What is law? Not even law as a course, but law as a concept, right? She asked us, what is law? We came up with a couple of answers. She was like, okay, this, that. Essentially, law is a term that we all use, right? We would say family law, civil law, contract law, all of these laws. But essentially, what exactly is law? Now, in 100 level, you do a course called legal method, right? And one of the first topics, right, basically goes into what law is, and then it goes into features of law. It's 100 level ish, it's not too hard, basic things. So in this video, we're just going to be walking through that body of knowledge, right? So we're going to start. Now, what is law? Now, according to Introduction to Nigerian Legal Method by Abiola Sani, law is defined as a body of rules made by institutions, bodies, and persons vested with the power to make such rules, which are binding and enforced among the members of a given state or society. So, in short, law is rules and regulations that regulate a given particular society made by a group of people, mostly government, that is supposed to be binding on these people. So law in the basic term is rules and regulations that guide and govern a group of people made by an institution or body that has the right to do so, right? So in every country, in every state, there are sets of rules and regulations that govern the conduct and activities of the people in that state, and that essentially is what law is. Also, we're going to go into features of law. Now, when we say features of something, essentially we're looking at characteristics of that thing, right? When you see this and see this, this is what makes up this. So, for example, if I say, I'm thinking of something, it has two hands and two legs, it stands upright. Um, well, anyways, what should be coming to your mind is a human being. If a human being is not coming to your mind, you're weird. So yeah, so what I just basically did was to list out the characteristics of a human being, and by just hearing the characteristics, you know, okay, this is a human being we're talking about, right? So when we say characteristics of law, essentially we're saying what are those things that when you see them, like these are the features of law, these are things that make up law, these are some of the attributes. Yeah, that's the word. These are some of the attributes that law has, that law must have, right? So that is essentially what characteristics of law is about, what features of law is about, some of the things that law must be to be called law. And we're going to be going into, I think, 5 or 6 and just explaining that. So, number one, law is a body of rules. Now, what this means essentially is that law is not just found in one book, it's not just found in one statute, it's not just found in one constitution. It's found in various places, right? Law has a vastness of sources, textbooks, we have like constitution, we have case laws, we have different aspects of laws, right? So law is a body of rules. Essentially, it is made up of finding it in different places and different sources. It's not every single law is not in one single document, right? So when we say feature and characteristics of law, we must know that law is not just found in one single text. It is vast. It's found in many places. It's found in many sources. Number two, law is man-made. Now, what this means is that law is made for men and women. Law is made for men and women, of course, to govern and regulate men and women. So law is man-made. right? And this means that any law that is made by man is to be governed, regulated by man for man, right? So even if we have like God's laws, laws like the law of aerodynamics, which allows like airplanes to fly without falling, law of gravity, which says that everything that goes up will come down, and various other laws. Those are God's laws, right? And now man-made laws are laws that men themselves have crafted out. It's a body of knowledge, it's a compendium of knowledge that men themselves have crafted out to rule themselves. In our country, Nigeria, right, all our laws that govern this particular territory are man-made laws, and this has constitutional backing from Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution, which essentially says that laws are made by the National Assembly, which of course is a coming together of men and women to make laws that will govern men and women of the society. So laws are man-made. This is a very, very important element and a very, very important characteristic that you must remember. Number three, law is normative in character. So what this means is that law tells us what to do and what not to do. The whole essence of laws is to regulate the activities of human beings. It tells us what we can do and what we cannot do. It tells us what activities we can engage in and what activities we cannot engage in. So you see that a society where there are no laws will basically, that society will be, it will be haphazard, it will be chaotic. If there is no rules, there's no regulations trying to basically tell the people what to do and what not to do. It's because we have laws, that we can say, oh, don't steal, don't kill, there are basic laws that are put in place so that these things will not be done. Because law in itself is normative in character. It tells us what to do and what not to do, what activities are allowed and what activities are not allowed. That is a very essential element of law. So when you see a text that tells you what to do or what you should not do, I know that, okay, this is looking like a law, a rule, a regulation. So it falls under the same body. So number four characteristic or feature of law is that law is coercive. It has an element of coercion. Now, law will not be law if it doesn't have an element of coercion. Like this basically means that if you fail to keep with this law, sanctions, can be vetted out on you, right? You can do sanctions through like the courts, through police force, through tribunals, putting in, for example, if they say, okay, laws of medical doctors, let's just use the most simplest example that I can think of right now, and they say that you're not allowed to be negligent as a medical doctor. Now, if you fail to keep up to that standard of care and you are negligent, you can be summoned to a tribunal where they would basically look at what was done and they can revoke your license as a medical doctor. Same thing too with lawyers. If you fail to keep the rules of professional conduct, and you can be summoned to a tribunal, to a disciplinary committee, and a sanction can be vetted on you. They can revoke like your license to practice as a lawyer, or they can vet out certain fees for you to pay. So law has to be coercive in nature. We know that even in our immediate environment there are certain things that are crimes, and if you commit these crimes you can be locked up in prison, you can be charged to court, and that is essentially what criminal law is about, telling us what we can do, what we cannot do, and the sanctions that apply to certain activities of individuals in the society. Now, the major difference between laws and moral rules is this element of sanction. Because for most moral rules, they don't exactly carry sanctions, right? So let's say modesty, for example. Some people believe that modesty is subjective. And if there is no law saying, oh, in this particular place, if you come out like with an immodest outfit, you'll be arrested or anything like that. If there is no law, then it's just a moral rule that, oh, okay, in this place we should all be modest. Even if somebody comes out immodest, they will not be, charged to court or a tribunal or anything like that. So the major difference between laws and moral rules is the element of sanction, the element of punishment, that is between the both of them. So this is a very important thing to take note of. Number five, law is territorial. So what this means is that a particular set of laws that apply in Nigeria, for example, may not apply in America or any other place. So law is territorial, So you can only give out laws based off on the territory. So, for example, the country Nigeria, if you see, there are some laws like abortion is not a crime. In Nigeria, abortion is a crime. So law is territorial based off on the territory or based off on the state, based off on the country that you are, one law may not be universal, in another place, except of course Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Human rights, that's like almost like the exception to this. But essentially, there are certain things that are allowed in one territory that are disallowed in another territory. So you must know that law is territorial. Even as a country, even inside the country, there are certain laws that apply to the northern part of the country, and certain laws that apply to the southern part of the country. For example, drinking alcohol in the southern part of the country is not a crime, but drinking alcohol in the northern part of the country as a Muslim, it's a crime. It's a crime that's punishable there. So you see that with territory wise, these laws can differ. So yeah, law is territorial. You must know this. This information is going to be important again to you 100 level students, 500 level when you take public international law, because then you see like territories and other countries, laws that apply and laws that don't apply. So this is also an important piece of information. Last but not the least, number 6, law is dynamic in nature. So what this means is that law is not static, it moves. As we know, the society that we live in, based off on economical reasons, political reasons, and even social reasons, we are gradually, advancing as a society. And if the law doesn't catch up with the newness and peculiarities of the movement of the society, then the law in itself would be redundant. So what this means is that as the society is moving, the law is moving as well. It can be tweaked, it can be amended just to see that it accommodates the general future of the society. So law in itself is dynamic, it is not static. It moves as the society moves. So yeah, essentially those are the 6 elements of law, and we've basically gone through what law is. We've gone through the basic elements of law. So make sure you watch this video over and over and over and over again. Also, you can use your Introduction to Legal Method by Abiola Sani. You can use your Legal Method textbook by Esi Malami, and just go in and really get those important information that you need, so that when you're seated in class as a 100 level student, you'll be able to answer when your lecturer asks you to explain what law is and what the features of laws are. So make sure you go through it over and over again. So let me know if this video was helpful. In the next video, I think we are going to do theories of law. That one is more complex, but don't be scared. It's more complex, right? But it is interesting. And so make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, and share this with a 100 level law student that would need this, right? All right, thank you very much for watching this video. Bye. Peace out.